Good morning. Happy rainy Sunday. My name is Neenan Hentz, and with Jill Thompson, I will be your worship associate today. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, and he will be back in the pulpit on the 25th of September. Welcome to those of you who are here with us in person at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Roanoke, Virginia. We extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining us on YouTube. Please, if you have a joy or a concern, put it in the chat in the next 15 minutes, and we will be able to share that later in the service. And another special welcome goes to all of you who are here for the first time today. Welcome to UUCR. At the end of the service, we have coffee in the fellowship hall. Please feel free to join us for that. A reminder, and I did that one. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Ahu Salem, the Executive Director for Blue Ridge Literacy. Many of you may know her because you have volunteered with BRL. Just a reminder, take a second to silence your cell phone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your experience of the holy. As you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here.
Our congregational covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
If you will turn to reading number 434 in the hymnal, it's by Anonymous. And join me for our opening words. 434. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We will now light our chalice.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Good morning. If you are in 5th grade or younger or just want to join me, come on up. I have something to share with you at the storytelling chair. Come on down. I'm going to put on a special sweater. And those of you who are fanning yourselves, yes, I know. This sweater belongs to someone very important to me, and her name is Raggedy Auntie. Has anyone heard of Raggedy Auntie before? Some folks have. I actually am Raggedy Auntie. That's my secret this morning. I am Raggedy Auntie when I put this sweater on and when I wear these glasses. And I sit with my sweet friends, just like you guys, and I read them books. And I have a big basket of books right here. So why don't you guys grab a book and pull it out? Any old book. Some might be a little difficult to get out. Oh, this rainbow book. You know what I learned in this book? I learned about a man named Harvey Milk, and he fought for the rights of lots of people. And he's the one that helped design this rainbow flag with a man named Gilbert. And I learned his story in this book. He was an amazing American. His story is a little sad sometimes. Let me see this. Ooh, Alice Walker wrote this book. It's called Why War is Never a Good Idea. And this one helps me understand when we hear about wars and we hear about people fighting, this one helps me understand why I don't like war. Bedtime math. You know, sometimes we have to do math. And this book made it a whole lot more fun than it was on a worksheet. This is a great book. Oh, more than enough. This one is a Passover story. So I learned about a culture that's not my culture. I learned about the Jewish practices and rituals on Passover. This is an awesome book. This book is called Writing from the Heart, and it was published by Blue Ridge Literacy. And this is stories from people who moved to Roanoke from other countries and learned English here by, guess what? A lot of it is reading books. I don't know what he's using. I think he drew in the sand. Yeah, he drew in the sand. I got it right. What else we got? What other books are in here? We've got I Am Perfectly Designed. This is by Karamo and Jason Rachel Brown, and it is a lot of fun. This book helped me realize that even when I make mistakes, what I do is right. This Chicks and Salsa book, I just like to read it for fun. It's ridiculous. What else do we have in here? All Are Welcome. That one's a lot like what we say at the beginning of church. All are welcome. This one is called What Can a Citizen Do? And it's by Dave Eggers. And it tells us what we can do as citizens of no matter where we are, our neighborhood, our country, things like that. So we're going to take these books upstairs. The last one is The Proudest Blue. And this is about a young woman who first starts wearing a hijab to school in a place where not a lot of people wear headscarves. And she learns to be very proud of her culture and her heritage. So these books taught me about other people. They taught me about myself. They showed me what I find fun, and they made math fun for me, which is a hard task sometimes. I love math now. And that book, Sandy, that book is from when I was your age. And it's traveled with me. Sandy's going to show everybody this book. It's traveled with me everywhere, and it's about making a friend even when you feel very lonely. So we're going to take these books upstairs, and we're going to do a really fun activity this morning where we're going to get to arrange the classroom however we want. Does anybody else want to help carry books? All right, let's head upstairs. And anybody who wants to join us upstairs is welcome to join as we walk out those doors right there.
Margaret Mead once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." And today we're going to learn a little bit about a small group of committed citizens who are changing the world right here in Roanoke, one learner at a time. And I want to share with you one of the stories. Jesse talked about writing from the heart. And this is a book that Blue Ridge Literacy publishes every year. It is a collection of stories and poems, recipes sometimes, from learners from all over the world and here in Roanoke, native English speakers who are struggling with literacy. So kind of a combination of those things. This one is called A Candle in the Dark, and it's by Kaisa Yarma. Living without literacy is like sitting in the dark. If you sit in the darkness, you cannot safely move by yourself. You cannot get what you want. Doing even simple things becomes difficult. When a person gets a little literacy, it is like having a small candle. You can now see things nearby, but you cannot see the whole room. The small candle might be used to help you improve your life. Your options are limited, but much better than when in the dark. When a person has more literacy, it is like having a much brighter light. You have a key to find anything for yourself. You have many more options to do as you wish, and you can safely move anywhere in the room. Literacy makes life easier for you and gives you many new choices. And that's from one of our learners from last year's book. We are about ready to publish a new book in the next couple of months. So it is my great pleasure today to introduce our speaker and my boss. I work part-time for Blue Ridge Literacy, full disclaimer, Dr. Ahu Salem. Ahu is the executive director of Blue Ridge Literacy, which is a nonprofit organization housed in the downstairs of the main library on Jefferson Street. We offer adult literacy services to foreign and native-born residents of the Roanoke Valley. We even this summer on some of our Zoom classes, we were helping learners that lived all the way over in Catawba, near Danville. Ahu is also a member of the Virginia Office of New Americans Advisory Board, having earned her American citizenship last January. Woo-hoo. In this role, she serves as one of the board's 2 language access co-leads and works to provide actionable recommendations addressing the linguistic, cultural, and economic integration of new Americans in the Commonwealth of Virginia. As a sociologist with a passion for integrative activities, Ahu's especially interested in how differential access to resources shapes and impacts everyday life experiences for immigrants in different host settings. Originally from Iran, Ahu holds a PhD in sociology, and I'm going to butcher this, from Università degli Studi di Milano in Milan, Italy. So please welcome Ahu.
Thank you so much. Still morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And Nina, thank you for the very nice introduction. Feels like home. Everything I've seen here fits with what we do at Blue Ridge Literacy. And I know quite a few of you are our past and current volunteers. So it might be a repetition for all of you, for some of you, but I'm really excited to share a little bit about the work that we do and the learners that we serve at Blue Ridge Literacy. I'm also going to use the clicker for the first time, so bear with me. Oh, there we go. Oh, there, okay. Now I got it. So I'm gonna speak a little bit about Blue Ridge Literacy, the organization, its timeline, how it came to be, the services we offer, why we offer these services, what is our approach, and at the end, wrap up with sharing a few ways that people can get involved with us. Blue Ridge Literacy was founded in 1985. We are 37 years old by 2 local librarians who saw the need for literacy skills in the Roanoke Valley. At the time, it was mostly serving American-born adults who, for different reasons, hadn't had the resources they needed to be able to read and write. As time passed, we did see a need for offering also English services because the world was changing. You can look at the timeline. The war broke in Yugoslavia, and people started coming to Roanoke. So in the early 90s, we started offering English literacy services as well. By the early 2000s, the need had grown so much that we started offering structured classes rather than only one-on-one tutoring, and continued on doing so. We have become a member of Pro Literacy, which is a national advocacy and resource for adult literacy organization. And then we moved into the main library building in 2014. We are really, really grateful for this partnership. Among other things, we have received some type of credibility by being in the library. We are central, we are accessible by bus, which is a mode of transportation many of our learners take, and we are known as a safe and trusted place. So Ninan can confirm this. Many of our learners who have been coming to us for so many years don't really know the organization's name is Blue Ridge Literacy. They say, I come to the library to learn English, and that's how we want it. We also started offering services for people who were eligible to become American citizens. So pretty much anybody who has lived here with documents for 4 or 5 years can apply for becoming an American citizen. And it is a long path. You need to pass an English and civics test, but you also have to do a lot of paperwork. In our citizenship preparation classes, we work on the civics skills that our adults need to pass the test and become American citizens. And finally, with the outbreak of pandemic, same as many other places here included, we started offering online services. Online services were a little bit of a big step for us. We didn't know if our learners had the skills and the ability. We soon learned our learners have these young, amazing kids who are our IT support. Now we offer both online and in-person classes, mainly because it helps a lot of our learners to overcome barriers of transportation and childcare. Some of you have taught our online classes. It's easy for the parents, but very, very difficult for the instructor. There are many, many kids involved, but that's also how we want it to be. So what are our services? I started by mentioning our one-on-one tutoring service. That is a very unique service we offer to both American and foreign-born adults. These services are really tailored to the needs of our learners based on the goals that they have. We also offer leveled English classes. We call them English for Speakers of Other Languages, ESOL, rather than English as second language, because most of the time our learners already speak a couple of other languages, partially because that's how it was in their home country, partially because that's how their journey was. They have lived in multiple places before they got to us. We have been offering English classes for businesses as well. This is an area that I'm really interested in. And if anybody would like to continue this conversation later, we can do that. The goal is to ensure when people are working, they have the ability to improve their English skills so they can progress. And then I did mention our citizenship preparation options too. These are really fun classes. We rely highly on volunteers for these classes, and the outcome is really a tangible life goal for many of our learners. And that takes us to our mission. The mission of Blue Ridge Literacy is diverse and a little bit flexible. And I think that's great because it reflects the diversity of our learners. We serve around 300 adults every year from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different life experiences, and socioeconomic levels. So our mission is to help adults reach their life goals through literacy skills. And these life goals reflect the life of our learners. For some of our basic literacy learners, American-born adults who want to improve their reading and writing, a life goal can be reading a bedtime story to their grandchildren or to their children. For some of them, it can be paying their bills independently. We had a learner who wanted to write a love letter to his wife, and he achieved that goal and moved on to the other goal. For many of our foreign-born learners, a life goal is to be able to communicate in your everyday interactions, to navigate the supermarket, importantly, to talk to your children's teachers at school. The matters that impact the success of a family are really important to our learners. They want to get a driver's license, they want to improve in their job, they want to pass an interview to get a better job, and for many of them, they want to become American citizens. So how do we approach this goal? How do we help our learners reach their life goals? We focus on functional literacy skills. So this is looking at literacy a little bit beyond the sore ability to read and write. Functional literacy skills are the reading, writing, and English communication skills people need to navigate everyday life interactions, to have information about resources that are available, to know how to utilize those resources. And something that I would like to say, to make long-term plans, to make decisions based on the information that they have available at the time being that can impact their future lives. Let's think about some of the examples. Our learners, they want to talk to their teachers, to their kids' teachers at school. Of course, they want to understand the K-12 system, but they also need to know about planning for college for their kids. They need to be aware about the role that the financial institutions play in this area. I'll give an example about myself. It took me a really, really long time to understand the importance of building credit here, even though I am surrounded with many people who could have shared that information with me. My thought was, why should I use borrowed money when I have a little bit of my own that I can rely on? And soon I learned, well, that was not the right aspect. So functional literacy, health systems, I think everybody can agree it's a little bit complicated. Understanding insurance, that is something that is really, really important for anyone who lives here for their well-being and their future. And the list goes on. So what we do is, of course, we want to provide our learners with all of this information, but we don't know it all. We are a place that connects people. That's where working together comes into place. We would like to connect the service providers with the recipients of services, our learners, which are a small portion of all of the residents who live in this community. We provide the terminology, the language skills, the reading and the writing. The information about the resources comes from our community partners. And of course, the absorption happens with our learners. We work very closely with many, many different community partners, and I will go in depth with, about some of these services more. We have been offering integrated English and health literacy classes. This is something we've been doing since 2019, and it started by an expression of interest from medical students who go to Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine. So if I break it down, it becomes so much more simple to understand how these cross-sectional literacy services work. Medical students, they wanted to know their future patients. They wanted to know their linguistic and cultural diversity. On our end, we always want our learners to become familiar with people that they will interact with later on in the society. Of course, our learners get the chance to speak English with their instructors, with other volunteers, and with their classmates in class. But real life situations are a little bit more scary. You just have the pressure of an added accent and a little bit of a more formal situation. So this is an amazing opportunity to create that connection. When medical students join our class, one of the first questions is, are you going to be a doctor? Yes, I am. And then the organic conversation starts. And then something else happened on the side. Many of the students, college students, are either first or second generation immigrants themselves. They have names that are similar to the names of our learners. Maybe they know the language of one or two of the people who are in the class. And more than likely, they have experienced the challenges that our learners are facing, either firsthand or have seen it happening through their parents. So now we have an element of representation. You can see yourself a little bit in a future, you can foresee a future for yourself or for your children by seeing somebody who looks like you, who sounds like you, and who's having a life that you may also aspire to have. We also offer English and digital literacy classes. Ninan can talk a little bit about that. Well, we saw the need for digital literacy. We know there is a gap, a digital literacy gap existing there, and we want to ensure that our learners are included in every aspect of life in their new community, including the online spaces. English and financial literacy, that is something that I'm working on. I'm open to all suggestions about how we can make this work. Currently, at the time being, we work very closely with the City of Roanoke's Financial Empowerment Center. If you're not familiar, this is a very great free service for all the residents, and we connect our learners with the Financial Empowerment Center to get some information. But a major question that they have is, I don't have enough right now. I don't want to bother anybody by asking questions about financial institutions. We want to break that barrier. Information is key to action. And as long as our learners don't have that information, they can't plan ahead. So these are some examples of the integrated services we have. Over here, I have a list of our community partners. This is not all of it, but I'm going to use this list to talk a little bit about one of our current partnerships that is happening with the city of Roanoke, and that would be related to the Welcoming Week activities, or Roanoke being a welcoming city. So up here, you can see, of course, we work very closely with the public libraries. We are so grateful for this opportunity because it makes our services accessible to others. We work closely with the Roanoke City schools. The collaboration helps parents of kids who are in elementary schools improve their English, but also learn about the school system. We work very closely with our city's refugee resettlement agency, Commonwealth Catholic Charities. As you know, Roanoke is one of the 3 resettlement cities in Virginia. So a lot of our learners are also clients of Commonwealth Catholic Charities. And of course, we work with the city of Roanoke. So for the past 5 years, Blue Ridge Literacy has been participating in planning activities for Welcoming Week. Roanoke is a welcoming city and tries to incorporate this approach throughout the year, but during the month of September, we offer special programs. The kickoff of this event was yesterday with a 5K run, the 2nd annual Roanoke Runs for Refugees. We have a walker runner here, Ninan here, who had her learners sign her bib to accompany her through her walk. Throughout this week, there will be a whole range of different activities. Some that I am very excited about are a field trip for all of our learners to the City Hall for 2 main reasons. Perhaps you're familiar, there is a very good language access plan happening with City. You can require interpretation via phone or and I'm going to see this, on a tablet thingy that speaks in over 200 languages. So we are going to the City Hall to become familiar with the translating tablet, as well as the other resources that are there. On September 16th, we will have a celebration for the new citizens. Please join us if you are interested in that. The celebration happens in the City Hall chambers from 10 to 12. And it is really a small attempt to replace the really, really nice and fancy oath ceremonies that people would used to have at the district court here in the POF building. These ceremonies are not taking place due to the pandemic. I hope they will come back again in 2023. But we want our new citizens, also our learners, to have the joy of celebrating this important milestone with friends and family in their city rather than just at the USCIS office in Norfolk, Virginia, which is a little bit farther. So I talked a lot about what we do. Let me talk a little bit about who we serve. I mentioned we initially started by offering services to American-born adults. At the moment, that constitutes a small portion of the learners we serve. Only about 10% of our learners are American-born. We do know this is not a true reflection of the need. There is, however, a stigma attached to seeking help when you are American-born and you are not very fluent in reading and writing. The word of mouth, which is the best way for our services among the foreign-born population, isn't as effective there. We try to work with other organizations such as TAP, such as Goodwill, and such as United Way to ensure they know of our resources for American-born adults so we can reach out more to people. But we will take any help, so please spread the word about that. For our foreign-born population, usually what happens in the world geopolitically and socially and what happens within the country has an impact or is translated into our learner-based population with a little bit of time lag. The exception to that is what happened in Afghanistan last year and the evacuation after that happening so quick that we saw incoming groups of Afghan residents very, very quickly. The data that I have there is from the past fiscal year. It is not very different this fiscal year as well. In the past fiscal year, we served learners from 47 countries of the world. highest population comes from Afghanistan. It will still be the same. It was followed by learners from Mexico, and let me have a look. Venezuela, Sudan, and DRC. This year, we will be seeing more people, refugees, coming from the African countries, and that is a reflection of the new administration increasing the refugee resettlement cap and also reducing the limitations on the categories of refugees who could have come. Spanish is the largest language spoken by our learners because besides Mexico, we also have learners from many other countries that speak Spanish. And I'm going to share a little bit more stats information about our results. So these are actually our current fiscal year. We served 295 people in our ESOL classes. That's a lot of people. This is through 3 semesters. So these are not necessarily unduplicated individuals. But if somebody comes to class for 3 semesters, I think they should be counted. We served around 100 people in our one-on-one tutoring programs. 20 of our learners became American citizens, and that is great. And this is not necessarily a reflection of their achievements. Appointment times and the processing time for becoming an American citizen impacts that. We have around 100 learners who participated in our English and health literacy classes, and another 80 who improved their English digital literacy skills, either by participating in online classes while learning how to navigate an online environment, or actually participating in our digital literacy programs. So we do a lot of amazing stuff, even if I say so, and we do it with the help of volunteers. We are a very, very small group. We do rely on around 50 to 60 active volunteers at any given moment of time, around 100 volunteers throughout the year. And our volunteers help us in our one-on-one tutoring program as classroom assistants and as classroom instructors. We have quite a few volunteer opportunities. I have volunteer registration forms out there with me as well. And for many of you who are our past or current volunteers, I want to share we just brought in a new position of a volunteer coordinator, part-time volunteer coordinator. So we would be offering a lot of professional development opportunities just to ensure everybody has the resources to feel satisfied with what they're doing. Other ways to get involved with us? Join our board, please. We have a dynamic board of directors. I do believe we are where we are because of the support that we have received from our community, including people who have that allocated their time and resources to be on our board. Participate in our events, not only during the welcoming week, but throughout the year. We have a lot of different activities. Our annual fundraiser is a Scrabble fundraiser. It's pretty fun. If you haven't joined us, maybe this year is a good time. And we hosted the first Nowruz celebration in Roanoke last year. Nowruz is the Persian New Year, so it's a little dear and near to me. It starts at the beginning of spring. Thanks to the Virginia weather, we had snow on that day. So, and many people ask me, can we have it at a different time this year? Unfortunately not. Nowruz happens every year on March 21st, but we are going to have the second celebration. And I think that wraps up what I have to share with you. I have copies of our 2021 Writing from the Heart book. Take a copy, please. I read these stories and I get the goosebumps. They really are a window to the lives of our learners based on what they feel they would like to share at that time. And our 2022 book is going to be amazing. Just to give you a sneak peek, it also holds the cover of the 2020 book is a painting done by one of our learners from DRC. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he just received one of the City of Roanoke's Arts Matters grants as well. So that's pretty neat. We always like to talk about the accomplishments of our learners. So thank you for your time. I have my contact information here. Ninan, of course, has my contact information. Please reach out to me if you have any questions later on or just right now. We usually request a 6 months commitment, and the duration of the volunteer work during that time is up to 2 hours a week. So a lot of people meet with their learners for 2 hours just once a week. Some do 1 hour here, 1 hour there, or some find some types of activities that can be done in the second hour. Many of our volunteers stay with us for much, much longer time. Many of them take a break and then come back. Yes? Mhm. Which part of it? Well, there are many aspects that come with being a citizen. Voting, of course, being one of them. I could not vote for the presidential elections. I became a citizen after that. But I have been voting in our local elections, and that is really, really fun. Also, because my country, Iran, well, it has a strange government. It's not one that you would want to vote for. And that is the truth. Another benefit that comes from being a citizen, and it's a very important benefit, is that you can bring your immediate family members over. My parents, they have not seen the city that I live in, and they have traveled in a lot of the world. Before moving to the United States, I was living in Europe, and I had the opportunity to meet with them quite often. I really want them to come and see Roanoke. I have submitted the paperwork for them a year ago, and it's still in process. So it is a little bit of a longer path. Now I have two passports. It's pretty neat. There are many interesting aspects, and it grows on you, right? You become more familiar with the fact that, or you become more adapted to the fact that not only I have rights, but now I have responsibilities as well as a new citizen. So this is something that we also work with our learners about. Absolutely, there's a lot of copies. We are. I can. I think you would do more justice to that, though. Yeah.
So one of the other things that Blue Ridge Literacy got involved in last. I'm a swim coach. One of the other things that Blue Ridge Literacy got involved in last year was an initiative through BMI?
ELF.
BLF. It's the statewide initiative to publish the writings of learners from across the Commonwealth. And we started working on it in September last year, and it was published in May. Many of you may have seen it. I think I did. I don't know if I put the link on our source on our site or not, but I will. It's called Spotlight, and it highlights learners from all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that was a really cool initiative that who got us involved in.
You were on the.
Yeah, I was part of the
editorial
editorial board. Yeah.
And if you ever have any questions about the work we do at Blue Ridge Literacy, Ninon has taught any and every type of our classes, online, in person, beginner, advanced, digital literacy, citizenship. So she would know all about
They
it.
got tired of me hanging out, so they hired me.
We love you.
Yeah. Catherine is one of our volunteers. I know Carol has volunteered in the past. Anyone else here volunteer? I know some other people with it. Oh, Jerry, yeah, have volunteered. So it's really, I have to say, after 35 years in the public school classroom, this has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And the people you meet, seeing the pictures of our learners, just like Lou had to go get a job this summer. And I just miss her so much. I mean, she's just the most wonderful human being. You know, a difficult journey from the Ivory Coast, just horrific. So, you know, just it's one of the things that if you really want to renew your faith in mankind, this is where you could do it. Carol.
Yeah, you said I had volunteered, which I did when I first moved to Roma. It's about 15 years, between 10 and 15 years ago. And one of the things was, there were lovely young couples that I was working with. But I got really initially volunteered, really very, really
It's a long time ago.
I struggled mightily enough to, when we took young clients, when they had to earn a living and they couldn't do it when she was pregnant, she stopped um, coming. I was very discouraged and didn't continue for that reason. I have no background. Do you do offer now some guidance to how they work with what the approaches and stuff?
We do, and I can completely understand your perspective. It's a very difficult work, and it needs to be rewarding for both parties. So yes, we have been working really hard on providing these support services. We do offer volunteer training every other month, but that is only the tip of the iceberg. Throughout the process, we have our program director as well as our volunteer coordinator who would be in touch with our volunteers to ensure that they are using the correct type of resources and curricula that meets the needs of their learner. And then there is really a constant process of learning. Pro Literacy offers a whole number of resources that can be taken as webinars or as courses to improve your skills for teaching and working one-on-one with some person. As a volunteer of Blue Ridge Literacy, all of our volunteers have access to Pro Literacy material for 6 months, but that is again complemented with individual support coming from our staff.
Catherine's a current volunteer and a board president.
You get a lot of support, you get curriculum, you get, workbooks with your students, and I found the support to be, because I was a little overwhelmed too. And the support is great now, very great, you know what to do, you can talk it over, what the plans are. I had about a 2-hour class.
And
And I became to the
raised it, we've pumped that up, Carol.
That has been really amazing. It's important.
And it's important to hear the limitations because we are always working on making things better. So thank you so much for sharing that.
I would have continued if I felt any kind of support, but I did not. And fortunately, these young people had come to Libya and they had a knowledge of the language, but they didn't understand it, how to navigate.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to revisit how things are going there, we would love to sit and talk with you.
We have a training coming up soon, don't we?
We have one yesterday,
Oh, yesterday. We had one yesterday. We'll have another one, it's about once a month.
every other month.
Yeah, I was close.
Very
Good.
close.
Good. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ahu will be here afterwards for coffee if you have other questions for her as well. As you have heard, Blue Ridge Literacy is a huge supporter. UUCR is a huge supporter of Blue Ridge Literacy and back and forth, and vice versa. And then the work of this church requires the time, talents, and treasures of many people. So as we collect today's offering, know that your generous gifts go towards future missions in our church. The ushers will now move among you.
Good morning. I'm Terry Smith, here representing the Caring Committee. This is the time in the service when we share the joys and concerns of our members and friends in this time of lifelines. If you'd like to share a special joy or concern, you're invited to write it in the Lifelines Journal. It's here at the start and end of each service. And during the week, it stays in the alcove next to the name tag board. You can also send your information to Sally Garber. She's the head of the Caring Committee. Or you can send it in to the church office. I have one piece of information to share this morning from Chris Yates. She's asked that we let you know her 6-month-old granddaughter, Charlotte, remains in the hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, due to persistent seizures. Chris has gone to Chattanooga to be there helping her daughter's family for as long as it takes. We all hold things in our heart that can be joyful or a matter of concern. At this time, we'll light a candle for all those things that we hold in our hearts. May you find peace and fulfillment in the days to come.
We have a few announcements this week. First, please welcome Sharon Tay Napper as she begins our temporary office administrator. She starts this Monday, and her office hours will be Monday, Tuesday, Friday from 10 to 3, and Wednesday and Thursday 10 to 4. And we are also continuing our quest for a long-term person in that position. On December 25th, it will be a big Sunday for us. Don't forget to bring your water for the water communion, and come prepared to experience a service like no other with Paula Cole-Jones. This is also the date of the newcomer meetup and the climate and clean energy rally, so make sure to check in with both the Connections Committee and the Green Team respectively. There is still time to donate to the 2022 service auction. The donation period runs until October 1st, and donation forms are available at the church, or you can email or call Sherry Bernath for more information. We have continued to clean out nooks and crannies here at UUCR. Please check the table beside the office and the top shelf of the coat rack for items they have discovered that may be yours. In addition, there's a table in the fellowship hall with giveaways so you can see if anything meets your needs. Our Living the Question Sunday morning adult study group is now reading Reparations, a Christian Call for Repentance and Repair. The Living the Questions group meets at 9:30 on Sundays. And there are also several local churches who are also doing book studies. So if it better fits your needs, Christ Episcopal Church is hosting a multi-church book study every Wednesday evening in October from 6 to 7:30. Soup and salad will be served. And there is registration information on a handout in the table in the lobby. All right, I think lastly, we're going to welcome Hildy Getz and Henry Woodward to talk about the 8th principle.
Well, hello, I'm Rick. This is my church friend, Frank. So, Frank, I found out that the 8th principle is about anti-racism.
Come up here. Yeah, that's what I understand. It's about anti-racism.
Well, I know it's not politically correct, but I'm really tired of talking about racism. I've read several books about it already, and it's always on the news. I think I understand the problem, but why do we have to keep on talking about it?
Well, I felt a little like that too. But when I took the Pledge to End Racism workshop, I began to realize that we have to do more than understand the problem. We have to be doing something about it.
But race relations have gotten so much better since I was young, and that was a long time ago. And besides, I've never really thought of myself as a racist. I don't know why we have to keep on feeling guilty about it. And now add another whole principle about it. I don't mean to sound uncaring, but aren't there a lot of other problems in the world to focus on?
Yes, of course there are. But racism is so ingrained in such a long-standing deep issue. It's going to take actions that speak louder than words. Do you know that 150 or more congregations have added the 8th principle that puts a focus on action? So I think we need to find out more about it. There's going to be a free Zoom session on Saturday, September 24th with Paula Cole-Jones, the co-author of the principle. She's really dynamic. And we've had a little exposure to her, and she has incredible knowledge. Let's check this out, okay?
Well, Frank, now you got me interested.
Okay.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Great. We hope you're all interested in it.
Come join us.
So our closing music is a song by Coco Love Alcorn that I just stumbled across because when I was trying to pick music for this service, of course, the Reading Rainbow theme song came into my head, and it didn't quite work because really I think the whole idea behind literacy it goes with our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, which if you're not familiar with the principles, they're on the beautiful windows. So I found this song called Every Person's Got a Song to Sing or Song to Sing. And Coco does it with the ukulele, an instrument I do not play but at all. But I know that we had one here in the church that was donated by somebody who does play the ukulele quite well. And I had forgotten that it was basically a toy, but that's okay. So there is at some point some lines you can sing that are ooh and then ooh again. And if you would like to join in, I'd really appreciate it because it will cover up the sound of me playing the ukulele. Okay. Right. I also have to look at my hands a lot to do this, but it will work. Every person has got a light. Every person has got a light. Look with your heart to see how bright. Every person has got a light, has got a light. Every bird's got a song to sing. Every bird's got a song to sing. Whether grounded or taking wing, every bird's got a song to sing. Got a song to sing. This is where you can help. Ooh, again. Ooh, every tree takes time to grow. Every tree takes time to grow. If you're a forest, then you should know. Every tree takes time to grow, takes time to grow. Ooh, every dream is a wishing well. Every dream is a wishing well. And a treasure you don't ever sell. Every dream is a wishing well, is a wishing well. Every person's got a song to sing. Every person got a song to sing. Whether grounded or taking wing, every person got a song to sing, got a song to sing. Ooh, ooh,
Kind of pull it all together, one of the things I wanted you to know is that UUCR's efforts in the community towards literacy are based on our Reading Seeds program. Just since May, we have donated 1,790 brand new books to children in our community. Linda's here. Several people volunteer with Reading Seeds. We've done 3 Head Starts, 4 elementary schools. We donate to New Horizons, and then we help Maya and Heidi Thompson with their Girl Scout box, their little library, which is really fun. You may not know this, but 31.8% of children in Roanoke live in poverty, which the national or the state average is 13%. 27.5 children in Roanoke come to kindergarten with no reading readiness skills. Judy's here as well. I forgot Judy. So we feel like the Reading Seeds initiative that UUCR supports, we also donate to our learners' children at BRL, is really one of the most important mission groups. And I speak from someone who works with Reading Seeds, so that caveat as well. Remember to join us in the fellowship hall for coffee. Now, yes, Datsy. So see Datsy for Living the Pledge workshop. There's a table in the back, and they'll sign you up. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join us for chat and coffee.